We're going into 2021 with reels, and those reels are going to get us work, and we are going to have the most profitable year as filmmakers we've had yet. All right, people, let's get into it. I am Garrett, and today we are talking about reels, the single most important tool any filmmaker can have to get paying work. Now, thanks to Epidemic Sound for sponsoring this contest, they are going to be giving away a handful of lifetime subscriptions to Epidemic Sound with their commercial plan, which is the primo plan to use. More on that in a second. But a reel, or the compilation of all of the projects, or the best of the projects that you have shot, is the fastest way for people who are determining who gets hired for a project to see what you are able to create. I, as a filmmaker, have made a whole host of reels throughout my career, constantly updating them as I film more work. And as a producer, I've seen and critiqued even more reels than that because I am hiring a lot of people for different projects that I'm working on. And with that, there are a couple of things to keep in mind when creating a successful reel. And to help me dive into that, let's meet the judges. Our first judge is Joshua Martin.
I consider myself a documentary filmmaker as well as content creator, and I work for Moment, the lens company, the creative company that's going to try to provide you everything you need as a creative, a filmmaker or photographer.
Our next judge is Chris Vanderschaff.
I shoot super slow motion for commercials, films, and brands, you know, big arms that move the camera fast enough to show movement at 1,000 frames a second, or hard chase rigs, crazy weird stuff, big film sets.
The third and final judge, which shouldn't really come as a surprise, is me. I'm a commercial producer and director that films web and television broadcast commercials, and I teach at a film school here in the Detroit area. Well, first, thanks for taking the time to chat.
Sure.
As you know, and as I know, having a demo reel is the fastest and most efficient way to get paying work.
Oh, absolutely. It's really important because that's going to be even if it's on your website or you have a connection you send your reel to, that's going to be the voice for whoever's going to hire you. That's your voice, and that's your style. That's everything you put into to say, hey, this is why you should hire me for this job.
If you want to get hired by somebody, you have to have an example to show them, to prove that you can do the work, to say that, yes, I'm worth the money you're going to give me. I can actually make you a commercial or a video or a music video or whatever it is. They're going to want to see an example of what you can do before they give you money.
The reel it's a connecting point. Just not so much your work. I find it's more of a connecting point. And if your personality is spot on and everything else that comes with you as a brand, that's a very powerful moment that your reel can do.
Like, you can tell somebody that you're able to do a thing, but until they're able to see the fact that you can do it, you're like, if they don't know you, your word isn't really worth a whole lot. But if they can see what you're actually doing and putting together, I think that's kind of really where it goes from being just kind of an entry conversation to now a meaningful conversation about how we can get involved and do stuff.
You have to make your reel with the end user in mind. Making a reel that's really, really long is one of the biggest killers when it comes to making reels.
We have this propensity to like save the best for last, of like, you know, hold back, really wow them at the end. But usually somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds into a reel, I'll know if I want to watch it or not.
Being an attention grabber is going to be key because you want me to continue to watch whatever this is. How long is it? Does it take too long to get to the parts that you really want to showcase?
One of the biggest things that I look for in a demo reel is having a short enough demo reel where I don't lose attention, but still showcasing everything you want to show, proving to me that you know what you're doing. Like, if you want to get hired for a cinematographer role, I want to see, do you understand composition? Do you understand lighting? Do you understand camera movement? If you can showcase all those different kinds of things in like 60 seconds, that's incredible. Like, that's going to make your reel stand out way more than throwing in every shot that you've ever done for 12 minutes long because you thought it was cool. Nobody else is attached to the project emotionally like you are.
Can I walk away saying, man, that was pretty solid, I want to watch it again real quick? Or is it going to be a one-time thing? Okay, I've seen enough. Be true to who you are and what kind of content you want to make, and then build it around that. Because like I'm not judging you. We're not going to judge you off of just like how many speed ramps you have, how many this you have. Like we're not looking for that. We're looking for your true self, how strong it is in that particular reel that you have, because all reels are different. We already said this, they're all different. So that's what we're going to look for, right?
Be incredibly selective of what you put in your demo reel. Only choose the best stuff. The rest of it doesn't really matter.
If you hold back and you save the best stuff for the last 30 seconds of a 90-second reel, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that don't get through the first 60 seconds to then watch the end.
You really want to get the absolute best stuff you've ever shot all condensed into a nice short reel that somebody's going to be excited to watch for 60 seconds.
Music can be just as detrimental to the quality of your footage in a reel as it can be like explosive and helpful. Because if the tone of the music pulls you out or pulls you away from the footage that you're watching, you could have good looking stuff and have a very unimpressive reel.
So I like to treat my reels as a new form of content, a new form of video. Even though it's like a collage of everything that's happening that I've worked on, in a way I treat it as something completely new, and I'm trying to thread an emotion in it. So I go off of what the tone should be, right? If I know I'm gonna have mainly exciting shots, I want it to feel dynamic, I want it to feel pretty epic, but then also have moments where it is kind of quiet and then it hits you again. So like I look for hits, I look for these ebbs and flows.
One of my favorite things about Epidemic Sound is that you can pull the stems off of a file, so you don't just have a flattened track that you have to use it this way. You can separate all the layers and you can isolate whatever instrument you want. You can take the vocals out. It's super flexible for not only just demo reels, but if you're doing commercial projects and maybe you just want to pull the vocals out because you have somebody talking, way better than just having a flat track. That's a huge thing to have.
It's control. It's the control that I have now to further develop this emotion I'm trying to create. And sometimes you might love a song, but it has this particular, audio dip or vocal that you just doesn't fit well. You can take that out because you have the stems now. You have everything that you need at your fingertips to really mold this to what you need. And another feature that I really like, when you find a song that you really like, but you want to find other songs that are quite similar, there's a button for it. And from other platforms, like, it works, but with Epidemic Sound, I feel like it's the most accurate because it gives you this really the same feel.
100%. Yeah, and it's almost like in the same way that YouTube kind of just keeps feeding you more of the stuff that you want.
Yeah.
Where it's like all of a sudden now you're 4 hours deep and you're looking at like cat videos and it's like, how did I get here? Epidemic's kind of got the same thing where it's like if you find a thing that you like, all of a sudden here's more and more and more to where then you're able to like really identify exactly the piece that you want. A quick reminder, the prizes for this are a lifetime subscription to Epidemic's commercial plan.
Boom.
So
that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, so like there's a whole opportunity of like even beyond this, like moving forward, like you could just have music licensing for the rest of your filmmaking career, which would be wild.
Having endless creative freedom for the rest of your life to use as many music tracks as you want, that's insane. That's an amazing prize that I think anybody would be stoked to have.
Now that we've got all of that out of the way, I'll give you an example. So we're gonna watch my reel, which is a reel intended for potential clients to see. I am a producer and director that works primarily in the commercial advertising space. So my reel is intended to be shown to potential buyers or clients, people who are looking for a video agency to produce an ad with a certain production value. So without further ado, here is an example for you here. let's talk about the rules. The rules for this are super simple. Rule number 1 is you have to use Epidemic Sound's music library for your reel. You can use any song you want. You can use any combination of the stems that you want, the sound effects, etc. You have access to their entire library, but you have to use their music. Now, if you do not yet have an Epidemic Sound subscription, which you should, we talked about that, there is a link below for a free trial to start out. Now, I am of the opinion that once you start, you're going to see the value that it brings. I use Epidemic Sound for all of my YouTube stuff, obviously, but also all of the commercial work that I do, including spots for Adidas and Leatherman and a whole host of others. So it is worth investing in, but to start out, if you need to start with the trial, there is a free link below for that. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, it has to be under 2 minutes long. Ideally, I would say about that 90-second mark, or that minute and a half, is about where you should live. If you don't have enough content to support something that long, you can always go shorter. I would say 60 seconds would probably be about the shortest I would want to see, but it can't be any longer than 2 minutes. If it's longer than 2 minutes, it's going to be disqualified. If I can go through 40 terabytes of footage that I've shot over the last couple of years and cut something that's 90 seconds long, I have faith that you can do the same. Rule number 3, you have to own the rights to all of the material that you use in your reel. This is not something that's just for the contest, but something that should be noted for all reels. Don't put stuff in your reel that you didn't produce, right? Whether you were the director or the producer or the cinematographer or whatever it is that you're creating your reel for, make sure that you are the one who made the thing that's going in that reel. The worst thing that you could do is to take content that you didn't have a hand in creating, put it in your reel, show a client, and then that client expects that level of work from you. And if you didn't shoot it, if you didn't create it, you're not going to be able to produce whatever the thing is that they're going to want you to do. The deadline for this contest is December 31st, 2020. So you have the rest of this year to get a reel cut, which is perfect time to then go into 2021. You will have an asset that you will be able to use to get yourself paying work. We're gonna follow this video up with another one where we're gonna kind of break down how I approached cutting this reel, the things to keep in mind, how you use music to enhance the storytelling of the visuals, all of that. So make sure that you are subscribed if you are not, and hit that bell so you know when that video comes out. But all of that to say, we're going into 2021 with reels, and those reels are gonna get us work, and we are going to have the most profitable year as filmmakers we've had yet. Again, there's gonna be some videos coming out which are gonna help guide your creative process on how you create your reels. We have amazing judges that are gonna be looking at and critiquing those reels, and a handful of you are going to walk away with a lifetime subscription to Epidemic Sound's commercial plan. I cannot stress to you enough how crucial that is if you are looking to make money as a filmmaker, because music licensing up to this point has been a nightmare. Trust me, I've had to do it. It's awful. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, do me a favor, give this video a like. If you want to watch more on the creative process about reels and making a reel and how you can participate in this contest, hit subscribe and that bell icon, and as always, I will see you in the next episode.